I just want to make you aware we have got a dad who's big into toys and things around the house, but he does them all himself. He's a DIY dad, which sometimes can be a curse, it has to say. But he's made, like, for instance, there it is. We've got this paddling pool that he's made out of a skip, and apparently it works very, very well. Ruth,
well, he likes it.
Well, Ruth and I'll get into that and we'll find out, OK? But 11:20 doing that. Our new budding fashionista, Olivia Buckland, standing by with all the best embellishment trends. And
she's flung open the doors to a camera crew for another fly-on-the-wall reality series. Katie Price tells us if anything is off-limits. I doubt it.
Oh, yes, and talking about off-limits, Ruthie, wine sales, right?
Yeah.
Wine in a box. Apparently it was in vogue, out of vogue. Now it's making a massive comeback.
Yes.
Which ones can you pick up at the supermarket at the right price? Is $12.15, OK? So put it all together, and there it all is. Very good. So this is, the noise you're hearing there is Dawson Willcock, who we're going to talk to very, very shortly. But also our money man, Martin Lewis, is in the house, and he wants to hear from you. Martin.
Yeah, well, what we're looking for is your calls on any of your money issues you've got. But especially if you're affected by the British gas price rise that's coming along in September, do get in touch and we'll answer questions on that. Maybe a flight delay, maybe you've got debts, you've got savings, you're worried about student finance. Anything at all you want to ask me on money, this is the time. It's an open phone-in. I don't know your questions. Luckily, I'm wearing my brown trousers.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, mate, I could reckon you're going to get a few on switching after British gas increases this week, so stand by on that one. The number, 08000 30 40 44, consumer landlines, mobiles are free. Email this morning at itv.com. Need them in by 11:15.
Now, as you heard, Dawson Willcock is here. He's a lovely boy. He's here with his parents, but just at 15 months old when he was diagnosed with an extremely rare form of liver cancer, the exact same one, actually, as Michael Bublé's son Noah had.
Now, Dawson's parents had almost given up hope until they heard of a life-saving treatment, you guessed it, in America. So, therefore, that comes with a snag. It comes with a cost, £500,000, which they now have to raise themselves. So here we've got Dawson, we've got his mum, Wendy, and his dad, David, and alongside them, Dr. Ranj, to give his whole opinion on this. And Ranj, I would like to begin with you, because a lot of people will think we've heard of all of this before, we've been through all of this before with Charlie Gard. What do you see as the difference here to the unfortunate Charlie Gard case?
This is a very different situation to what Charlie was in. This is a different condition. This is a potentially curable condition. Even if it's not potentially curable, you can have a good quality of life with treatment as well. The treatments that are out there are a lot better research. They're not experiments, and there are people with experience with them. So this is a completely different situation. Therefore, the two cases aren't comparable in any shape or form.
OK, so Mum and Dad, does that give you more hope, more strength, more resolve?
We hang on to hope. It's all we have at the moment, hope and belief.
When Dawson was diagnosed, what did they tell you at that time? Because this is a very, very rare form of liver cancer, isn't it?
We were told it's, yes, 0.9 in 1 million. I remember the consultant saying it's a really treatable cancer. She said if we had to choose a cancer to give a child, we'd always give this one. It's always, you know, it's got a 9 out of 10 survival rate.
So at that point, you were thinking, OK, there's nobody wants to be given the diagnosis that their child has cancer, but that sounded all like good news.
Yes, it was just going to be a few rounds of chemotherapy, major surgery, and then a couple of more rounds of chemo, and we were going to be ringing that bell and in remission.
So what has changed?
Unfortunately, it seems that the chemo is not working. He was supposed to be having surgery in Birmingham, but just the week before the surgery, it was noticed on the scan that the cancer had spread to his lungs as well now. I'm so sorry, Wendy. I just have to laugh, because you would never know that. Look at him, he's so poorly, but
mischievous.
He's so cheeky. Yeah,
and smiling. You know, is he like this most of the time?
Yeah, this is why we fight. He's got so much life in him. How can you give up?
And you know what, Dad, David, you're looking there, you can't deny him as your son, can you? He's the spitting image there, so he is.
Hello.
Now, what, David, look, right, where are we at? What resolve do you have? I'm sure you'd move mountains if you could.
I'd do anything for him, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely anything.
So what's the target? What do you need? How do you need people to help you?
We need to raise about £500,000. It's an enormous amount. It's horrible having a price on your child's life, but we can't do it on our own.
And just could I ask you, Wendy, is that because, let's just make it clear to people, does the technology exist in this country, or is it the doctor saying, look, we haven't got the resources? What is it?
We've been treated at Queen's and they have been brilliant. The nurses there, the staff, they're family, they are incredible people. They work with the sickest children and we can't thank them enough. But there is nothing now that can be done for Dawson. Our oncologist, she is looking, she is trying to find other things, but at the moment...
So you have done some research and you've come up with Dr. James Geller in America. What's his track record on this? What do you think he could do for Dawson?
He has a lot of experience with hepatoblastoma, which is the cancer Dawson has. It is a rare one, so over here there's not much experience with it, and to think outside the box.
And he's had quite a lot of success treating other children.
Yes, he does. He has different approach. I think he'll have access to different drugs, and even if it's a trial, it's we have to risk it.
So, Dr. Raj, you've been researching this, you've been looking into this. Why are Wendy and David left with this only recourse, which is the USA?
So this, as Wendy said, this is a very rare condition, and there's not a huge amount of experience in treating this condition. If you treat it in the early stages, it is potentially curable with chemotherapy and surgery. Problem is, when it gets to the later stages, that becomes very difficult, and especially in Dawson's case, he's become resistant to chemotherapy. So the options in this country have become exhausted, and quite rightly, his great team are now looking further afield to see if there are other options available. Problem is funding that treatment, and that is going to cost money. What we must
So the NHS would not fund that?
It may not. It's quite complex rules as to what it can and can't fund. We don't have an endless pot of money, sadly, for everything that we would love to fund. What we must also point out is that you're actually having a teleconference with the specialist very soon to see if he can offer some
So he
help.
hasn't said at the moment whether he can help Dawson?
No, we've not got anything set in concrete yet, which is why we've said that from the start, we said any money we have raised, should Dawson not be able to be saved, or should we not need it, and we've had a miracle in England, the money would go to saving another child.
Yeah. How is this affecting the whole family? Because you have 2 other children. How are you coping as a family?
It's very difficult. Your heart breaks, obviously, for Dawson, but also I see my 2 other children. I just wish I could take it all away for everybody. It affects the whole family.
Of course it does. And how is your fundraising going? Because you've already started. Because you were saying if you get this call and Dr. Geller says, I think I can help, come over, you need to be ready to go.
Yes, we're running out of time. So yeah, we launched, it's called $1 for Dawson, and we just had the idea that if we could reach 500,000 people and just ask for £1, you can't even get a cup of tea at the park for £1. You can't buy an ice cream, a loaf of bread.
You've already raised 200 and something.
It's about 240,000 we've raised.
Yeah. And what about your local community?
They've been amazing, absolutely amazing. It's been incredible, the support. Strangers have become friends. People are just contacting us and they've said, we've had a fun day, we've done this, we've done that, we've had a cake sale, all sorts.
It must have been very hard for you to watch the Charlie Gard story unfolding and the sad outcome that had.
Very difficult.
What do you say to people that say, well, you know, sometimes you have to accept that the treatment, you know, can't be funded by the NHS, and that is then down to the family to deal with?
I can understand. There are boundaries, there are limits. You know, Dawson is just one child, but, you know, to us, he's our world. He's more than just one child, and we understand that the NHS can't fund everything, so that's why we are asking for just £1 off so many people to save our baby's life.
He is enjoying himself this morning. He's watching you on the monitors. Who's that? Who's that? Is that you? Is that Dawson? Is that you?
Well, Dawson, come back and see us when you get all your hair back, yeah? When you get better and well and lovely. Give us a big wave.
Wave.
Give us a big wave.
In a wave.
Hiya.
No.
David and Wendy, and most of all, Dawson, look after yourself.
Well, we hope
Thank
you get
you.
that news
Very much
you want
indeed.
to hear from America.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, thanks for having us.
Doctor, thanks very much for your take on things as well. Thank you. We're going to hit the break there. Coming back, we've got Martin Lewis talking about finances. There's a phone-in. And we've got a dad who's very creative. Well, he's an inventor, really, Ruth, isn't he?
Yeah, so he doesn't buy things for his children, he makes them. And that's one of them. A baby walker with lots of bits of pipe strapped together.
He's got a blog, it's called Lad Baby, and he's going to be showing off his skills from a homemade paddling pool. Don't miss it after this break.